It's been a while since I covered Gigastructural Engineering on this channel, and a lot of new things were added since. In today's video, we'll see what's new in Gigastructural Engineering and More, an iconic mod created by Elowiny and maintained by TTFTCUTS, Bread, alongside numerous other contributors. Joining the four horsemen of the apocalypse, we have Sirenalia. They are a part of an April Fool's collaboration between Gigastructural Engineering and Equestria at War mod team behind a My Little Pony conversion mod for Hearts of Iron 4. The Sirens originate from Faust, a planet within the Faust system. As you enter the system, you will notice all celestial bodies are centered around their homeworld. You will also find that the star is pulling energy from an unknown source. After creating an outpost, you can investigate the system's star. To uncover the Faustian mystery, you will need to research psionic theory. Having researched psionic theory and a special project, you will find out the star uses a process called psi-catalyzed fusion to produce unparalleled amounts of energy despite its size. Afterwards, another special project appears to replicate the process. To succeed, you have to breach the shroud beforehand, otherwise the project's gonna fail again and again. If you meet the requirements, you will get the Psi-Catalyzed Fusion Reactor, a building producing resources in exchange for Zrow. 25 years into the game, one of the Faustian nations gets taken over by the Sirens, a trio of mind-controlling serpentine demons from the depths. If you own the Faust system, a situation appears with four approaches. You can either do nothing, study the Sirens, help them overtake their homeworld, or stop them. If you pick the last approach, other ones will be disabled. If you haven't researched psionic theory, at stage 3 you get it as a research option, enabling the investigation mentioned earlier. The Sirens can either fail or succeed and take over Faust. If that happens, a thaumaturgic power surge will be detected in the system, reaching its peak in 3 months. Shortly, the system will be covered with the ethereal shroud, removing all means of FTL travel, including jump drives. Depending on your chosen spawn date, you will receive a notification when the shroud dissipates. After that, Sirenalia will appear, seeking to control the minds of everyone in the galaxy. The Faust system is reconnected once again, this time completely transformed, with the planet surrounded by the Shroud Sonic Enthraller. This megastructure amplifies Sirenalia's mind-controlling song by generating a strife field centered around Faust. Within the inner field, Sirenalia's spell is so strong that any fleets get instantly taken over by the Sirens. Further away, the effects fade, however they remain present within the outer field. All colonies within the outer field generate strife depending on population, stability, and crime. At the same time, the outer field generates more crime and lower stability on the planet. You can track the total amount of strife in the situation log and see the threshold for the field's shrinkage or expansion. The field size changes every 2.5 years based on the amount of accumulated strife. The Sirens will send out their fleets to conquer everything within their reach. The Enthraller will receive upgrades over time, increasing the field's potency. Pops on captured planets generate materials for the Sirens, which are later used for making ships or upgrading the Enthraller. With each upgrade, the field's effects on planets and ships are more intense, and countermeasures will have increased upkeep. Every 5 to 10 years, Sirenalia will also switch between different leaders, with each one giving different bonuses for the Sirens. Meanwhile, a new situation starts to develop countermeasures. Each stage gives you a technology, and without them you can't proceed further. The situation unlocks a new ship component. Initially, it removes accuracy and tracking penalties within the outer field, but as you make progress, you'll be able to reach the inner field without the risk of losing your fleets. You also get a building, which reduces outer field effects on a planet in exchange for higher job upkeep, with the second tier lowering them by 75% and also protecting your colony from the inner field. The last technology also unlocks the Grand Symphonious Bulwark, a megastructure which protects a system from all strife field effects. With the countermeasures developed, you can equip your ships with the new component and fight the Sirens. The Sirens will throw everything they've got to defend their homeworld, and because the Disenchanter debuffs your weapons, it is advised to use celestial warships or other strong vessels. If you wish to find out how to obtain them or get the resources required to defeat this crisis, watch this video covering all megastructures from the mod. Once you arrive at Faust and destroy all defenses, the Enthraller's core will be revealed. With the core destroyed, the field collapses, allowing you to invade Faust. At a certain point, Sirenalia will sacrifice their pops to defend themselves, meaning their armies will respawn until all pops are dead. You can handle this in two ways: research a special project to liberate the Faustians, and sacrifice your scientist to banish the Sirens. Otherwise, you can keep on fighting until all pops are dead. Based on the chosen outcome, you will receive different rewards. The first outcome unlocks the Crystal Mirror, a relic increasing happiness and amenities upon activation. The second outcome unlocks Abyssal Crystals, casting a spell of hatred upon all hostile factions and empires, reducing their ship capabilities and increasing unrest on their planets. With all that's left of Sirenalia, you can reverse engineer their thaumaturgic weapons and equip them on your ships. Just like other crises from this mod, you can select different difficulties, spawn dates, and determine the Sirens' chances of taking over Faust. The Blokkats have also received new features. If you have the Cosmogenesis Ascension perk and then build the Horizon Needle and embark your population, you can dive into the Blockvester itself. If you choose to dive into the Blockvester, a research project will be added in the Blokkat Research Bureau. With enough knowledge gathered, you have to research a special project with the Horizon Needle and then pick your destination. You can dive into the heart of the block construct and end up in what seems to be an alternate universe. But in reality, you get contained by the Blokkats. If you breach out somewhere else, you'll end up in the middle of an intergalactic battle between a huge Blokkat fleet and a fleet of unknown ships. Shortly, the faction makes contact with your vessel. You're gonna meet the Grand Intergalactic Federation, an alliance of intergalactic civilizations fighting the Blokkat Harvesters. You can ask them a bunch of questions and learn some lore, and if you're ready, you can join them in their quest to fight the Blokkats or ask them to escort you to a nearby black hole. If you choose the second outcome, you'll be teleported to a facility designed to study multiversal travel. After all questions have been asked, you can dive into a stable astral singularity to complete the Cosmogenesis project. You can either stay on course and reach a new realm, or slow down to study multiversal space and later end up possessed by the end of the cycle. If you're a genocidal, xenophobic, or militarist empire, you can also fight the GIF. This results in the needle being returned to one of the GIF's galaxies and your population re-educated before being released into one of the member states. Now that we covered crisis changes, we're gonna dive into megastructures. The Asteroid Manufactory now has 5 variants for alloys, consumer goods, food, energy, or super tensile production. It needs to be built around specific asteroids. If you have difficulty finding them, you can use a new edict to locate Asteroid Manufactory candidates and see them in the expansion planner. When built, an event appears displaying all available variants. Instead of resource production, each variant unlocks a unique building. Each building adds 10 jobs, with each one producing resources appropriate to their variant. The Asteroid Manufactory is now cheaper and it requires 25 energy and 10 alloys for upkeep. The Kilostructure also has new tech requirements. It now requires long-range mineral scanners and star holes instead of mega engineering. The Kugelblitz containment silo has received a new model and now it provides 25,000 storage. The megastructure has received additional stages unlocked with specific technologies. With mega engineering, the megastructure provides 75,000 storage. With tetradimensional engineering, the amount increases to 150,000 storage. To unlock the containment silo, instead of mega engineering, you now have to research citadels. Science Kilostructures have been reworked. The stellar particle accelerator has been replaced with the atmospheric storm observatory. All science Kilostructures now have new placement restrictions. The macroengineering testing station can be placed around frozen worlds. The orbital artificial ecosystem can only be built around toxic worlds, whereas the atmospheric storm observatory can only be placed around gas giants. Science Kilostructures have similar behavior to arc furnaces, placing deposits on all eligible planets. They also add powerful modifiers, boosting research station output and research production from research stations. To unlock the atmospheric storm observatory, besides cruisers, you will also need subspace sensors. All science Kilostructures now cost 7,500 unity, 5k alloys, and they now require 50 energy and 25 consumer goods for upkeep. If you have the Overlord DLC, orbital arcologies are now orbital ring buildings, which require a fully upgraded orbital ring. Orbital rings also get new modules, dependent on planetary bodies, as well as 4 buildings for strategic resources if a planet has strategic resource deposits. Last but not least, Matrioshka brains have been nerfed and they no longer boost research speed. On G-class stars, Matrioshka brains now provide 1000 research from all categories. On top of that, virtual segments have been removed. Instead, the Matrioshka brain provides new uplink buildings, which can be placed on your colonies. The building has various upgrade options, all of which offer different bonuses, similar to what virtual reality segments used to provide. If you enjoyed watching this video, make sure to leave a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss any mod related videos. You can also leave a one-time donation using the link in the description if you want to support this channel. I will see you in another video and goodbye.